Hello everyone. Today I will discuss the first chapter of your class 11 NCERT, The Living World. And before I start, I want you all to have a pen and paper so that you can write down whatever I am teaching in the class. Okay? Now let's start. So this chapter begins with discussing the term diversity. Now what is diversity? Have you heard about this term diversity? You will say yes sir. Now what is diversity? Diversity means differences. It signifies differences. So what does it signify? It signifies differences. Or various types. Okay. Now you'll ask, sir, what does it mean by differences? See, in your earlier classes, in social sciences book, you have studied that there are different type of languages, dance forms. In languages, there are different types of languages. Means you have seen that Spanish, French, Japanese, Hindi, English. Okay. In various types of dance forms, there are Kathak, Kathakali, Bharatanatyam. So this shows the diversity in languages and dance forms. Similarly, in the living world, the animal world is also diverse. Suppose, if I tell you to go to a zoo, you will see there are different number of or different types of animals and plants. Suppose, if you go to a zoo, you will see different number of types of animals. What are these animals? These are tiger, lion, elephant. If you go to a forest, suppose you go to a forest, there you will see different types of plants like people, neem, then there is mango. So in zoo, forest, in these places you will see different types of animals and plants. In the forest you will see different types of animals like deers, rhinoceros, then there are tigers, lions, birds, different types of birds. In the forest you will see different types of plants, okay, like people, neem, mango, and other types like imli, oak, etc. So this shows the diversity in the living world. Now, the diversity in the living world is known by a term called biodiversity. So this is our next topic, that is biodiversity. I hope you are writing down everything. Now, what is biodiversity? As I have told you, diversity in the living world. Diversity in the living world is known as biodiversity. Now, where do we see biodiversity? Where? As I have already discussed, that biodiversity can be seen in various places. In forest, jungle, sea, okay, mountains. Now, why do we see biodiversity? The next question comes that why do we see so much diversity? There are various reasons. The first one is evolution. As animals evolved, they became more diverse. But you will say, sir, how animals evolved and how they became more diverse? How they became diverse? because of the adaptive nature, to adapt to a particular place. The availability of food, etc. also defined, food, etc. also defined that the animal will evolve in that place. So that means food, shelter, availability. Okay, this also defines that animal will stay in this place and evolve in that place. Then the animal interaction, animal interaction, then there is animal plant interaction, so in the animal interaction, first you will see, suppose if I give you an example, what will happen to the number of tigers based on the number of population of deers. Suppose if the number of deers in an area increases, then the number of tigers in that area will also increase. So this is defined by, or this is can describe by the availability of deers in the region, because the more the deers, the more food for the tigers. So the population of tigers will increase to a certain limit. Okay, now the population of the, if on the other hand the population of the tigers decreases, what will happen to the population of the deers? Tell me, think. The population of the deers will increase. Okay, write down these things. Now if the population of the animal and plant interaction is seen, you will see if the population of the grass in an area increases, then what will happen to the population of the deers in that area? So the population of the deers in that area will also increase, because the same thing, the availability of food. Now what will happen to the population of the tigers in that area if the population of the, if the amount of grass increases in the area? If the amount of grass increases in that area, what will happen to the number of tigers? Think about it. As the grass increases, number of grasses increases, or the amount of grasses increases, the number of deer will increase, and this will give rise to the number of tigers. So what will happen? The number of tigers will also increase. You are seeing the interaction. Now you will say, sir, is it limited to this animal and animal plant interaction? The answer is no. There is other form of interaction also. This is known as animal and abiotic factors interaction. Factors. Okay. Suppose if the water in the area decreases, so what will happen to the number of plants in that area? That is, if you see the animal, abiotic factors and plant interaction in that area, you will see the number of grasses will also decrease. If the water in that area decreases, the number of grasses in that area will also decrease. Now you will form the same interaction that it has formed above. The number of grasses decreases, the number of deers decreases. That is the same type of interaction. Okay, and if the number of deers decreases, then the number of tigers will also decrease. So see, things are interdependent, they are dependent on each other. If one thing decreases, other thing increases, or sometimes the other thing decreases and the other increases. Okay, sometimes it both increases, sometimes both decreases. So these are interdependent, means these are dependent on each other. So biodiversity, the most important factor, one of the most important factor is the animal plant interaction, the animal animal interaction. These are the most important factors. Okay, I hope you understood till here. Now one important point you have to note down is, note down, there are 1.7 to 1.8 million known species. Okay, since there are so many known species, you have to name them. They will have different names in different parts of the world. Okay, so here comes our next topic, that is nomenclature. So what is nomenclature? Nomenclature means standardized naming of organisms. What do you mean by standardized? Means they have to follow some rules. Okay, so that the same name can be applied and that same name is applicable everywhere in the world and everybody accepts that name. So why nomenclature is required? Here comes our next question is, why the nomenclature is required? Because animals or plants should be named with the same name worldwide, and this name must be acceptable. Okay, it's not just animal and plants, any organism or any organism or any organism. Okay, so there must be some rules, some norms. So note down one point. The naming of organism is done by two codes. These are ICBN, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, and ICZN, International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. This is for the plants, this is for the animals. Okay, now our next topic is, there must be some rules to name the organism. So this rule is known as binomial nomenclature. So write down binomial, wait a second, binomial nomenclature. Now before I start binomial nomenclature, I'd like to ask you a question. The question is, write down the question, choose the correct statement. Number A, diversity signifies differences. Number B, nomenclature is for naming the organism locally. So choose the correct statement. So diversity signifies differences. This is correct. But nomenclature is for naming the organism locally is, tell, is it correct or wrong? It is wrong. Not locally. This is standardized naming for naming the organism worldwide, so that the same name can be used all over the world. Okay. Now let us go to our next topic, that is binomial nomenclature. So what is binomial nomenclature? So binomial nomenclature means the organism must have some scientific name, and this name constitutes two words. That is, the first word is the genus, the second word is the species or specific epithet. Now suppose, let me give an example. Suppose this is a mango, locally named, or name that is known all over the world, but this is not the standard naming. The standard name or the scientific name is Mangifera indica. Now you see, this is the genus name. The first word is the genus and the second word is the species. Now the second rule is the first word should be in capital, the second word should be in small letter. Start should be in small letter. Okay, capital letter and small letter. Now the second point is the names are in Latin. Names are in Latin. Names are in Latin and written in italics. Written in italics. Okay. Now if you write the name or handwritten name is handwritten name, handwritten name must be underlined. So what I have discussed, the first word is the genus, the second word is the species, then the first word in B must be in capital, the second word must be in small letter. The names are in Latin and written in italics. If handwritten, the names must be underlined. So if I tell you, example, question, scientific name of lion. If I tell you, give you example, which one of the following is correct? Panthera leo, Leo Panthera, or D, Panthera leo. So which of the following is correct? You'll say, sir, option D is correct. Here what is wrong? Both are in capital. Here what is wrong? only one portion is underlined. Here what is wrong? The species name is written first and the genus name is written later, and the species name and both are in capital here, and here both are underlined and the genus name is in capital and the species name is in small letter. So this is correct. Now the next question is, who gave us binomial nomenclature? Who gave us binomial nomenclature? It was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Now suppose, note down one thing. If you have to add the author name to the name, scientific name to the scientific name, then you have to use the name of the author in an abbreviated form at last. Suppose you have to write Mangifera indica as it was first described by Linnaeus, so the name of Carolus Linnaeus should be in abbreviated form and it should be written at last. So it should be written as LINN. Okay, I hope you have understood till now. The next topic is identification. Identification. Now, what is identification? Identification means to identify the organism based on characters, various characters or characteristics. So write down, to identify an organism based on various characteristics. These are mostly morphological characters. These are mostly morphological characters. Now you will ask, sir, what is morphological characters? The characters which can be seen from outside are known as morphological characters. So you can see seen from outside, like hairs, feathers. Okay, the size of the body, the shape of the body, the skin, these all forms the morphological characters. Now the next question is, why identification is required? So that we can identify and classify that organism. Identify and classify the organism. Now if I say, how identification is done? Now how identification is done? Suppose if I say you go to the forest and identify a wild carnivore. I hope you know what is carnivore. The animals that eats flesh are known as carnivores. So wild carnivores means the animal that eats flesh, or the carnivore that means that it eats flesh. So if I tell you to identify a wild carnivore in a forest, you will say, sir, there are so many wild carnivores. So I will say, what are those? You will say, sir, there is tiger, then there is the lion, then there is the crocodile. Then if I say you, which of the following has strips on its body, that is black and yellow colored body, that you will say that it is tiger, sir. Then if I say which of the following, in which of the following the males has mane on their face. When you understand what is mane, suppose this is the face Then this is that hair, like hair, so much hairs, like this is a hairs type. Okay, long. So this is seen in lion. So if I tell you to identify which of the following is dependent on water, then we will say, sir, mostly it is the crocodile. It mostly dependent on water, or mostly lives in water. It lives on both on land and water, but it mostly lives in water. So this is the crocodile. So in the first two you have identified based on outside external characteristics. In the third you have identified based on the habitat. Okay. Now what you will do after identification? You will have to classify that organism. So here comes our next topic, that is classification. If I say you, what is classification? It is a process to classify organisms. If I ask you, before that I will say, what do you mean by classify? Classify means to arrange them based on their similarities or differences in character. Mostly the similarities are taken into account so that you can place them in a same category or rank or in the same type. Okay. Now what is classification? You've learned. Now you will learn why classification is required. Why classification is required? It is because there are so many animals, huge numbers of animals needs arrangement. Okay, that is why classification is required. You have to arrange these organisms, this huge number of animals. So you cannot study them individually. You have to arrange them and study them together. So the classification is required. Okay. Now how classification is done? There are various processes of doing the classification. First is you have to identify the characters. Now you have to find the similarity. Find similarities. In those characters. Okay. Now, so you have understood what is classification. Now I will ask you a few questions. Number 1 is that identify the correct statement. Choose the correct statement. Okay. Number A, diversity of a forest is less than diversity of a desert. Here I am talking about biodiversity. Okay, biodiversity. So biodiversity of a forest is less than the diversity of a desert. The second statement is binomial nomenclature has two words. The first word is the specific epithet, and the second word is the genus. Okay, number C. Nomenclature means, write down, nomenclature means standardized naming of organism. Okay, so which of the following is correct? The first one is biodiversity of a forest is less than the biodiversity of desert. Is it true? No, it is wrong, because the biodiversity of forest is more than the biodiversity of desert, because the animal interaction, the animal plant interaction, the animal abiotic factor interaction are more in the forest area than in the desert area. So this is wrong statement. Binomial nomenclature has two words. The first word is the specific epithet and the second word is the genus. This is also wrong, because why? Because the first word is the genus and the second word is the specific epithet. Okay, nomenclature means standardized naming of organism. This is true. Okay, now what we have studied till now? Let us discuss. First we have studied what is diversity, then what is biodiversity, okay, then what is nomenclature, then what is binomial nomenclature, then what is identification, then what is classification. In the next class we will be discussing about taxon, rank, taxonomic category, taxonomic hierarchy. So this is all for today. Thank you everyone.